Good afternoon, and welcome to Jeff and the Rabbi. You know, why does everyone seem so depressed these days? Half the people that I know either have major anxiety or are searching for some type of new antidepressant drug. But the other half seem to be satisfied and even happy with their lives. After a very exhaustive 6 minutes of detailed research, I found conclusively that the line that separates these two groups of people is their belief in God and their adherence to organized religion. It's odd. Most of my carefree, seemingly unrestrained secular friends who maintain the proud definition of the meaning of life as the continuous pursuit of happiness actually are my most unsatisfied and unhappy of all my acquaintances. Now, I have another large circle of friends who are authentically religious and generally practice their religion on a daily basis. They are not as laid back with their attitudes. They complicate their time with prayer and structure. They abstain from many of life's pleasures like certain foods and activities. But for some reason, these ostensibly overburdened people who forego the rapacious pleasures of the world are the most content and joyous people that I know. They are the most driven and the least depressed of all of my friends. How can this be? My secular buddies don't have anything to worry about. They get to do all that wild and crazy coveting. They can eat Joe's stone crabs and dreamland ribs, and even the real dangerous and wacky ones can even mix different kinds of wool in their suits. They are not restrained by anything. They can be Hank the lumberjack arm wrestler. They can be Hank the lumberjacking arm wrestler today, and then Bambi the pole dancing receptionist tomorrow. They don't have any commandments, only rights. How can they be unhappy? It seems that all of these freedoms and awesome things that they consume on the road to contentment actually just make them feel worthless. Their lifelong search for the road to happiness was really just a wrong turn on the true highway for meaningfulness and purpose. You can use that on Saturday if you need that. You can use it. It's not trademarked. You can go ahead and take that. Now, religious folks tend to wake up in the morning with a plan and a determination to make the world that they live in a better place for those around them. They are driven by something bigger and greater than themselves, and this makes their lives contented and fulfilled. Think about it. Those people you see walking to shul on Shabbos or to church on Sundays who self-restrain themselves to honor a God they cannot FaceTime or text with are happier and more joyous than you are. Who would have thunk it? Well, the rabbi thunk it, and that's why he decided to do a whole show on it.
That's right. That's right. First of all, I am shocked. I know you've got some pretty wild friends, but you actually have friends that wear mixtures of wool and linen in their suit?
Only two. Only two.
Oh my gosh.
That's like wow. Everyone has extreme friends. You know those guys at the party you're scared to hang with?
I've heard of some wild stuff, but that is like...
That's going overboard.
Whoa! Wool and linen mixtures in their suit.
Makes you nervous. It makes you nervous. Whew.
Wow. But they're not happy.
No, they're not happy.
All that wool and linen is not making them happy.
And you think that would do it?
No. So Time Magazine, very recently, cover story, religious people live longer, says Time Magazine.
Oh, wow,
okay,
that's
I don't know, but I can hear it. Israel, interestingly enough, they do countries. All the countries have been interviewed, and they take polls and find out different questions. And one of the questions is satisfaction quotient.
Right.
Israel is like way up near the top. And you would think that there's a lot of reasons why Israel would be pretty low.
They got a lot of extra issues that we don't have here.
Like missiles and stuff like that, on a regular basis. And a lot of people hate them and everything like that. But yet, they always rank near the top. Kind of strange. And as a matter of fact, they would be right near the top if you take off like Scandinavia and Denmark. But they're always on the top of every one of these tests.
No matter what.
Right. So it starts with them. And then
I think they just answer positively to every question they're ever asked.
They're just really good poll takers. That's really the bottom line. Yeah. But Israel, why are they happy? And then they did a study within Israel. And they found out that the city that is the most satisfied happens to also be the poorest per capita city in the country. And that is a city which is Well, it used to be outside of Tel Aviv. Now it's contiguous to Tel Aviv because Tel Aviv has just grown.
Right.
So it's basically a suburb of Tel Aviv, but it's got its own mayor. And the city is called Bnei Brak.
Wow.
And the city of Bnei Brak came in at the city with the lowest per capita income and the highest level per capita of satisfaction.
Wow, that's very interesting.
How can that be? How can that be? Well, it just so happens that Bnei Brak is probably, man for man, woman for woman, child for child, the most religious city in the country. Right? I mean, it's all religious. The whole city's religious. They don't have any.
Maybe anywhere. Maybe in the world.
Yeah, they don't have non-religious. There are no like non-religious neighborhoods.
Right.
It's just like totally religious. And we're not talking about a small little subgroup. The city, I don't even know what it is, but years ago the city had a population of 250,000. So it's a regular sized town. You know, probably much bigger than that now. Anyway, how is that? Why is that? So, I think the biggest issue is, for everyone, does my life have meaning? On a day-to-day basis, day in and day out. So all the guys are going off to wherever they're going off to. They're having as much fun as they can possibly have. They're consuming as much world as they can possibly consume. They are enjoying as much pleasure as they can possibly be pleasured. But does it have meaning?
That's a good question.
And for most people, you know, they come back, they have a great weekend, they had so much fun, but what did it really mean?
No, that's true.
Then you get other people that don't have any meaning. I was just talking to my neighbor the other day, and my neighbor is talking about all kinds of stuff going on in life and stuff he's unhappy with at his job and different things like that. But he took off a day to spend a day with an old buddy who is sick and dying in the hospital. And he took a day off to spend a day with him. And that was the best day of his week.
Wow.
He's sitting in the hospital.
That makes sense.
Said some jokes, tried to cheer the guy up. They reminisced. Best day of his week. You know, he did a lot of stuff. He's kind of a prominent guy. He teaches and he's business and all this stuff. He was really dissatisfied with all of it. But that one day, why? Because he realized he did something meaningful to this person. He helped improve the quality of the fleeting last days of his friend's life. And only he could have done that, because he's one of his buddies.
Right.
And he realized that that day was a day packed with meaning.
I get that.
Didn't make any money.
I get that.
Didn't really enjoy himself. I mean, hanging out in a hospital, how much joy can there be there, right? And, you know, and the nurses and the medical equipment and all this stuff, how much joy could there be? How much real fun? How much excitement? But meaning it had, and therefore it was a good day. So why is it that religious people have meaning? Is it because religious people spend their time like not going to work, but instead hanging out with friends in the hospital? No, not necessarily. The religious guy also has to get up and go to work, and things might not be working out at work for him also. And he might be not making as much as his family needs, and he's got all this distress. So what's the deal? What's the deal? So the deal is, last week, in the Torah portion that was read in synagogues all around the world, we read about Jacob. Jacob left his father and his home, and he ran off to go live with his brother Laban, Uncle Laban, to try to find a wife, and he ended up with 4 wives and lots of kids and all that. But on the way from home to Laban, he's leaving from the south of Israel, and he's going all the way up north to like somewhere like maybe, you know, Syria, Turkey border area there. He stops, and unbeknownst to him, he stops. Actually, God contrives that he'll stop.
Cool place. Yeah.
And he goes to sleep in a place which is ultimately going to be the temple in Jerusalem centuries later.
Right.
And while he's sleeping there on the ground, he has a dream. And in the dream, he sees a ladder. And in the dream, on the ladder, angels are going up and down, up and down. He sees angels going up and down the ladder. And the question is, as the Torah very specifically says, angels are going up and down. The Torah, and everybody asks the question, why aren't the angels coming down and then going back up?
That would be a logical question.
They live up there, they come down, they do their thing, they go back up. But they're going up and down. So, he was turned on to an insight. And what's the insight? That, who are the angels? The angels are messengers. Messengers. Where do they start? You think angels live up there.
They start down here.
They start here.
Right.
Angels start here. You know why? When I do something, I have a thought or I do an action, I create an angel. I create an angel. And I send that angel off to heaven to report. Benjamin Friedman just did this. Here I am reporting, Benjamin Friedman just did this. And God says, okay, well then, take this back into the world. Corresponding to what he did. Basically, it's like chess.
Right. Okay.
I'm playing white.
Okay.
I'm always white.
Always white. And then
I make the first move. God says, okay, here, take my move back down.
wow.
And God makes a corresponding move based on what I did. Now, that might come right back down to me, or it might come right back down. My move might come back down to you, or my
Right.
move might actually come down to some guy on the other side of the world.
Wow.
Right?
But that's an important move, though, Helen. Now that we know that God's playing the game with you.
He's playing with me. So
Wow.
I made a move, and he made a counter move. You know what that means? Everything I do, my decision, am I buying the egg salad sandwich or the tuna sandwich?
So you've got
That's
an
a
angel.
move.
There's an egg salad angel, you're saying.
It's a move. That's a move.
Okay.
That's a move. Now, sometimes maybe it's the kosher sandwich and the non-kosher sandwich. That may be
That's
like
a
a big
bigger
move.
move.
Right? That may be a big
Right.
move. Maybe it's a small egg salad versus tuna. Who knows what? Why?
Right.
Every single thing I do is a move, and God is going to respond correspondingly. That means that everything I do today, yesterday, tomorrow is significant.
Wow.
That means I live a pretty meaningful life because I'm playing chess with God.
So there's a purpose for every single thing you do.
Yeah.
Everything.
Now God, he plays like that speed chess.
He's got
You know,
a lot
he's like
going
the
on.
one master,
Right.
and he's got like all the people.
All the
He's just
games
going
he's
around
playing,
game.
yeah, right,
He's just
right.
going. Everyone's playing a game, and he's going around. And he can play all of them because he's like so fast
Wow.
that he can play all of them at the same time. But he is playing chess with each and every one of us. If you think you're
And you
playing
can't.
chess.
So bottom line, you can't sneak a move that God's not going to see here.
No,
you can't.
yeah,
You
right.
can't move.
Even while
this
he's like
way.
doing the guy over
Right,
there.
you can't-
I saw that.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
got like eyes
So
in the
no
back
matter
of his
what,
head. He's like, yeah.
that's
Right.
tough.
You can't get away with it.
Wow. Wow.
But that means I'm playing. Hey, what are you doing right now? I'm playing chess with God. Whoa, playing chess with God. It's pretty good.
Hey.
How'd you snag a game with God? Oh yeah, he invited me. Wow, really?
Wow.
Invited you? What are you doing? I don't know. I'm just like I'm
got a
just
party
like
tonight. I gotta
yeah,
go.
just like like going to Canada to buy pot. Like
Right,
right.
right.
I'm just gonna get high and hang out and do.
So that move's not going to do that well. That chess move.
Yeah, some people they don't even think they're playing.
So I mean, wow.
If you think you're not playing, then what are you doing? I'm hanging out. Well, what? So, what's the meaning of that? Well, it doesn't have to have meaning. Why? Who says life has to have meaning? So the answer is you
Wow.
do because you're bummed out because your life doesn't have meaning. That's you are saying that.
See, that's
And
big.
The people who are saying that life has meaning, they're the happy guys. They're the yellow smileys.
There's a guy
right?
smiling right there.
They're all the happy guys because their life has meaning. The other guys, bummed out.
Not too good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it's an amazing way to think of things because then wow, you are really participating in this world.
That's right.
You're making a big difference or
Make a
not.
difference. And now, the downside is, and this is where a lot of people chicken out, the downside is that if I'm sending bad messengers up, then I'm sending bad things into the world. So
True.
my bad is like so magnified because not only am I doing bad, I'm doing bad to the whole world. So a lot of people would say, like, hey, I don't even want to play the game.
It's too dangerous.
Let me out. It's
Yeah.
too dangerous. Let me out.
Wow.
Okay, that's the price you have to pay. If you want to live a significant life, you have to leave. Like some guy might say, I don't want to play with God, and it's going to be embarrassing because I'm for sure I'm going to make all the stupid moves in the world, right? I don't even want to play. Well, you don't play, no guts, no glory.
Well, I'm just thinking here. So if we're God's chosen people, maybe we should choose the people we let play. Because if we have people who can be bringing bad stuff down in the world or good stuff, can't we pick the players here?
I mean, like, you could like even say like, let's say like I went to like some like nowhere college, like maybe like Citadel,
Right,
and
right,
maybe I
right.
might not even want to like show up for a Saturday football game.
Good point.
And then of course I could show up and I could really like for the first half I could really like show these guys that hey I can play football
See, this
for,
is the rabbi
at least for a half.
trying to,
At least for a half.
Oh, God, I know you're for the Crimson Tide, and I'm sorry about this.
Yeah, right.
Like, but I understand, but,
They said, at least we're in the game.
we're in the game.
We're in the game.
I got you.
Right.
But, I might choose, if I was making the choice, I might not let this guy over here. I don't want him playing with God here, because he's going to do some bad stuff, and then God's going to put some bad stuff back in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
And it might affect me as well.
That's true. But you know what? Anyone that's playing with God,
Right.
God doesn't let you. If you want to step up to the board, you can
Right.
step up to the board. Now, if you don't want to step up to the board, then God says, okay, fine. So you're not playing the game. So then I'll just let you play the game of chance. Now you're just being like the world of chance, and like if stuff happens, stuff happens. So you better buy lots of seat belts and try to make sure that the climate doesn't change on you, and try to be sure that you can then you can get your jeans spliced properly, and make sure that you recycle, and because otherwise you're
gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of reminds me. I used to worry about it. I remember one time we talked, and you told me that that you earn good things and bad things, because it's like, good things are in your life and bad things are in your life. So worry about when you get on a plane. You got to look at all the people on the plane and say, this guy over here, like, he's probably got some good points. This guy over here, maybe he shouldn't be on the plane. I mean, do you have to worry about that, or does my good stuff overweigh his bad stuff and the plane stays in the air?
So one of my favorite passages in the Talmud is there's a certain rabbi, and he had a dream. A man came to him, and a man said, "I've had a dream that I'm going to be on a ship, and the ship is going to sink." He said, "I had this dream." The rabbi said, "Don't worry, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about it." So he says, "Okay." So he took his trip. He had his trip coming up. He got on the ship, took the trip.
Right.
It seems as though that same rabbi was supposed to take a trip on the same ship. So the rabbi's on the ship, and he sees the guy with the dream getting on the ship.
Right.
So the rabbi says, "I'm getting off the ship." He gets off the ship. So they said to him, "But you said it's going to be okay." I said, "Yeah, he's going to survive. I don't want to be on a ship where somebody's going to survive."
Which is a really good point.
I'm sure he's going to be okay.
You're right.
I didn't see what's going to happen with the rest of the ship.
Right,
I just don't want to be on that ship.
Wow.
Right.
So this is a tough game of chess we're playing here.
Yeah. So the rabbi just he departed.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah.
But so what you're saying then is that knowing that you're a part of this world, knowing that you make changes in the world and you have something to contribute, and what you do makes a difference, kind of makes you content, and the other guy's just drifting because he's got no role in the world and he doesn't care?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It makes you content because it makes you realize life is valuable. And I just read about a fellow, Pastor, I think his last name is Edwards or Edmonds, maybe Edmonds. Okay, so he got into a whole approach that he's pushing and promoting through his church in wherever it is, Texas or something. What happened is a great story. His father, he found all this out. Years after his father died, he found all this out. His father was a Air Force pilot in the Second World War. Shot down and put in a German POW camp. There were other prisoners there. And some of them were Jewish. Some of them were Jewish American soldiers that had been captured by the Germans. So the Germans knew that there were some Jews. So they said, all right, all the Jews, step forward. Jews, step forward. We're going to take you off somewhere else and leave all the rest of the prisoners there.
Right, not good.
So, the Jews didn't want to step forward. So this guy, who was like an officer there, he says to the Germans, "We're all Jewish." He wasn't Jewish, but he said, "We're all Jewish here."
Right.
The guy went over and put a gun to his head, and he said, "We're all Jewish here." And no one moved.
Wow.
No one moved. They'll let him go. And they'll let the Jews stay in. And, they had rotten conditions. They suffered a lot, but they survived.
Wow.
They survived. So this guy found out about his father. So his father, that was a meaningful moment, right?
That was a pretty big
meaningful moment. That's a meaningful moment, right?
That's a tough
so
one.
He came from that, and he realized, like, every moment, you never know when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. But you can make your life meaningful on a day-to-day basis by making these little micro decisions all the time.
Which could
And
add up to a big one.
If you make little micro decisions, then, at some point, maybe you're going to have to make a big decision. Or maybe all the micro decisions taken in total make that equal that big decision. Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So it makes us happy, but you think some people feel a little bit of pressure on this thing too. So I mean, because I tell you,
no
being
doubt.
Jewish, being religious, there is more pressure. You got to wake up in the morning. You got to put on tefillin. You got to do a lot of things.
Right.
It's not. I mean, especially when you're living in a secular world. I mean, if
Right.
we were living in B'nai Brak, it might actually be a little bit easier because everybody's doing that. But you're living in a secular world. You got to do all these things. And I understand it, but I guess for a lot of people, it's tough. But these people are happier.
Right.
All these extra things. I can't go here. Oh, wow. Look at the great thing in the minute. The special of the day is crab cakes mixed with pork chops. That doesn't really sound that good. But, for some people, that's why I'm at the restaurant. So, you're sitting at home.
I remember when I was sort of embracing a very observant lifestyle.
Right.
I remember when it dawned on me, I said, wait a second. This means that I can never sleep in late any morning for the rest of my life because I always have to get up and go to services forever. Or if I choose not to, then I'm a bad boy. And I remember really thinking about that and thinking about the consequences of that and saying, that's a pretty big mental, emotional
hill to
commitment.
climb there. Yeah.
But you know what? All told, turning around, looking back on it, this is now decades later.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was a worthwhile trade.
It worked out for you?
Yeah.
You got a career out of it. You made a career out of it. That's
right.
pretty good.
Right. Right.
But it is an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing to think about because it's very true. I mean, I know this because I know the people, and I've seen people go. We were at dinner one time, and some girl was with us, and her fake eyelash fell off, and it was like the end of the world. She was going crazy, and I was sitting there thinking, wow. I mean, you got to have some kind of meaning in your life, or that's what it's going to end up being. That is just nothing there.
It boils down to an
It
eyelash.
boils down to a fake
In
eyelash.
the blink of an eyelash.
In the blink
Of a fake eyelash,
eyelash.
even. Right. If a real eyelashes fell off, that might be something.
Then I'll be a little upset.
That'd be something to talk about. Yeah.
But I was thinking, wow, it is different. So that's real. This is how it is. People who have purpose in their life, meaning, real purpose, not save the whales. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the whales. I like the whales, they're nice guys. But, real purpose in your life makes a difference.
So, the thing is, even when you're saving the whales,
right.
You only have purpose when you're saving whales, and it's hard to save whales all the time. But if you're religious, every minute has purpose. Every time you park in a parking lot, every single action has purpose.
That's a good point. Well, so I guess this should convey. If anything, this is actually good. So if you're not religious because of any other reason, maybe you'll be a little happier here. Maybe that's another reason to maybe call a rabbi, any rabbi, see what happens. Yeah. You never know.
Toward a more meaningful life.
Wow.
That's the title of a book that I saw one time.
Actually, it makes a little sense there too. I might read that. All right. Well, next week we will be back with another meaningful episode of Jeff and the Rabbi.
Right.